Chapter 22 New Home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Hattons didn't really tell him the reason for selling the villa, but Yang Ming knew it very well. Take the elevator up to the second floor. Yang Ming found that the layout of the second floor was quite good. In addition to a master room and a study next to the master room, there were 7 guest rooms and 2 smaller servant rooms. In addition, there was a hall and a living room. Nearly 1,000 square meters per floor is very large. Even with 11 rooms, the hall and living room are still relatively large. What Yang Ming likes most is that each room has its own viewing balcony, where you can enjoy the outside scenery at 360 degrees. The Hattons and their families were packing up, taking away some of their valuables but keeping most of them. Yang Ming still likes the study and master room on the second floor, but he plans to leave it to his parents. Taking the elevator to the 3rd floor, Yang Ming found that the layout here was similar to that on the second floor, except that there were not as many rooms. Yang Ming was sitting in a wheelchair and could see further from the balcony. The wind outside is blowing very hard now. Steward Lin, you can see very far from here. Young Master Yang, it's like this. Each floor of the villa here is about 7 meters high, which is equivalent to the 2 floors of ordinary houses. The 3 floors are nearly 20 meters high. In addition, the place itself it's more than 150 meters high on the mountainside, so you can still see very far from here. So that's it. No wonder Yang Ming just saw this place. It was only 3 floors above, and it felt like it was really more than 10 meters high. It's really good here in every aspect. Steward Lin, what do you think? Do you want to leave or stay? Master Yang, Mr. and Mrs. Hatton have always told me that they want to take me to Edinburgh to continue being their housekeeper. However, it is too cold in Scotland all year round. I don't like the weather there. My relatives and friends are in Xiangjiang, so I still want to stay in Xiangjiang. Then you want to continue working here? If Mr. Yang agrees, I am willing to stay, even if my salary is reduced. Yang Ming smiled. He doesn't need that little money. What he needs is a reliable butler. Judging from the exchange with Lin Dezhong just now, Lin Dezhong is still relatively reliable. Besides you, are there any other servants here? Mr. Yang, yes, there are 2 maids here, one cleaning and one helping with cooking. What about you? I do all kinds of things for the Hattons and their family. I usually cook the meals for the Hattons and their family. Yang Ming really didn't expect that there would be only 3 people helping out in such a big villa. So it's hard for you. If guests from Mr. and Mrs. Hatton come over, we might be very tired. Normally there isn't much going on. Don't Mr. and Mrs. Hatton have bodyguards? No, they are just ordinary businessmen and do not need bodyguards. Moreover, ordinary people in Xiangjiang will not mess with white people. In the 1960s, even the 1970s, the 1980s, and until the 1990s, the public security in Hong Kong was not good. Not only ordinary lower-class citizens may disappear silently, but they may even be thrown away to feed the fish in Victoria Harbour. Even the rich, especially the very rich, may be targeted by gangsters and may be kidnapped or extorted. In Yang Ming's view, it is simply impossible for the wealthy people in Xiangjiang to have no security. In Yang Ming's previous life, as a global arms and smuggling boss, of course he had many bodyguards around him. Otherwise, he might not even be able to sleep at ease. Coming to this world made Yang Ming understand that security around him was of course indispensable. It may not matter now, but when he soon becomes a wealthy man in Hong Kong, how is it possible that there is no security around him? What do you think you are capable of? Young Master Yang, I received formal butler training and examination in London, and obtained the butler examination certificate. Lin Dezhong said hurriedly. This is not what Yang Ming asked. British butlers are very famous and popular. People like Lin Dezhong do not serve the rich, but they can still work as housekeepers or administrative staff in major star hotels in Hong Kong. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is how many people can you control at most? How many people do you care about? Mr. Yang, what do you mean? Lin Dezhong was a little surprised. There will be more than just the 3 of you here in the villa. I will recruit more people to come back. There will be dedicated chefs to do things like cooking. It is impossible for you to do it part-time. Young Master Yang, if that's the case, I should have no problem taking care of a dozen people. Now it seems that Lin Dezhong has understood that Mr. Yang is probably richer than Mr. Hatton. Otherwise, how could he invite so many people back? How many people are needed here in the villa? Come back and make a list for me. In addition, the most important thing for these people to come here to work is that they are reliable and trustworthy. Those who have unclean hands and feet, talk too much, and don't know how to keep secrets are not allowed. And don't look for random people, even your relatives and friends, if they are unreliable, don't look for them. Young Master Yang, I understand. Lin Dezhong breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed. When Lin Dezhong pushed Yang Ming down the elevator from upstairs to the second floor underground, on the second underground floor here, there is a glass wall on one side. Through the glass wall, the outside sunlight can shine in. Even during the day, there is no need to turn on the lights, it will be very bright here. At this point, I have to say that the original architectural designer designed this place very well. You can take advantage of the sunshine outside and see the outside, so it doesn't feel like a gloomy basement like other places. Now it is a wine store and drinking place. Usually, the Hattons and their guests and friends can drink and chat here, or even have parties here to sing and dance. Yang Ming took a look around here and found that it was really good. The area here may not be as large as above, nor is it small. Wait for the elevator to go up to the first basement floor. This is also an event venue. In addition to the ground on three sides, the other side is a glass wall. It is also very good when the sunlight shines in during the day. In addition to the small library where children can read, there is also a snooker table for adults, a small bowling alley, and even a table tennis table that can hold more than a dozen tables. No matter it's raining heavily or windy outside, there's no problem in exercising inside. Yang Ming finished reading this. Go up to the outside on the first floor. Just now, Yang Ming briefly looked at the first floor here. In addition to the first floor courtyard, there are 2 swimming pools, as well as a separate covered parking garage. The Hattons have 2 ordinary cars made in country Y, a Luofu and a MG sedan parked here. Judging from the looks of the Hattons, they probably don't want them anymore. Don't Mr. and Mrs. Hatton have a luxury car? Yang Ming asked strangely. Mr. Yang, the Hattons usually drive those 2 cars. They didn't buy the Bayer and Pingji ones. Yang Ming shook his head, looked at Lin Dezhong next to him and said, the 2 cars will be used by your servants to buy things. In addition, I will pay for you to buy a batch of luxury cars. Please collect it. Chapter 23 Hire bodyguards with high salary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the late 1970s, were luxury cars expensive in Xiangjiang? Expensive. This is for the ordinary people in Hong Kong whose monthly salary is very low. For the wealthy class in Hong Kong, it is really not expensive. In addition, because Hong Kong has always been a free trade port, many imported things are relatively cheap, like Ferrari. The low-end version of the 4-seater costs 130,000 Hong Kong dollars, and the high-end version of the 2-seat Ferrari costs 260,000 Hong Kong dollars. Like ordinary Bayer and Pingji, the prices are even cheaper. Yang Ming knew that he would have to travel by car in the future, and of course he couldn't rely on his father's car alone. After Yang Ming visited these parking garages that could keep out the rain, he came outside, saw a slope in the distance. Mr. Yang, this is a golf course, but it's not completely repaired. In Xiangjiang, a favorite sport among the wealthy and aristocrats, it's golf. Not even horse racing can compare to golf. This golf ball was brought in by people from country Y. At this time, the rich in Xiangjiang, both whites and Chinese, loved playing golf. It is precisely because playing golf can not only exercise the body, but many of their business cooperations are also negotiated on the golf course. The first homeowner here fenced off the surrounding land. It was a large area. It couldn't compare with those large-scale golf courses that were being developed, but the area was not small. A lot of investment was made to renovate this place. In the end it wasn't finished. After the Hattons became the owners here, they continued to invest in the golf course, but work has not completely stopped until now. When Yang Ming saw this slope, he actually still needed to continue filling it with mud. Near Repulse Bay, there is actually a large standard golf course. It is said that Chinese tycoon Li Dezhong likes to play golf at this golf course. Private golf courses like this are really rare in Xiangjiang. The location is great. Steward Lin, please note that this golf course needs to continue to be repaired. In addition, more trees must be planted around the perimeter to prevent it from collapsing. The situation here will not cause soil erosion. Planting more trees will look more comfortable than having everything covered with grass. Yes, Mr. Yang. After Yang Ming looked around, the situation here was like this for the time being. Of course, further away, there are actually the villas of other rich people. Yang Ming knew that if the time was right, other villas around him would also have to be bought. After all, his and his family's safety comes first. When Yang Ming and Lin Dezhong returned to the lobby on the first floor, the Hattons and their family were already packing their things. Of course they would take away the valuables, such as gold and silver jewelry, but kept the rest. Now they can get a house payment of tens of millions of Hong Kong dollars. For them, if converted into pounds, that is a lot of money. When they return to Edinburgh, they can live a good life even in retirement. When it's time for lunch, the Hattons and their family took one look at the villa, but they were not reluctant to leave. They hurriedly left in a car. It has nothing to do with them anymore. Peter, this place really belongs to us. Li Yufang said excitedly. Mommy, it's like that. This is our new home in Xiangjiang. When Lin Dezhong and the two servants were making lunch, Yang Ming wanted to try Lin Dezhong's cooking skills. Wait until Lin Dezhong prepares lunch. Yang Ming saw that it was Western food. Speaking of Yang Ming's previous life, he spent a lot of time abroad, but he was really not used to eating Western food every day. After lunch, Yang Ming called Lin Dezhong over. In addition to hiring a Western chef, we also need someone who knows how to cook Chinese food. I like Cantonese, Sichuan, and Hunan cuisine. Yang Ming wants to hire a new chef, but Li Yufang is not curious. What she was curious about was how her son could like spicy Sichuan and Hunan cuisine after waking up. Young Master Yang, no problem. Yang Ming and Lin Dezhong came to the study room on the third floor. Lin Dezhong handed the list to Yang Ming. Among them, there are 3 full-time chefs who are responsible for the Yang family's food and drink. There are 5 full-time maids. These are cleaning people. There are 2 full-time gardeners who take care of the flowers inside and outside the villa. A full-time electrician is responsible for the electricity and safety of the villa. In addition, there are 5 handymen and support workers, in addition to the maid Ah Zhu brought by Yang Ming. In addition to Lin Dezhong and the 2 maids in the original villa, 16 more people are now hired. Young Master Yang, is there anything else? As for bodyguards, I will find 2 for me for the time being. They can drive and can protect my personal safety. Price is not an issue. They are not just pretentious. You must find capable bodyguards. Yes, Mr. Yang. Lin Dezhong wrote it down, calculated it, and including him, there were really a lot of servants in the villa. The normal salary is also a large sum of money, which is almost equal to the monthly salary of the employees of Honghu Electric Fan Factory. If it were Yang Jirong and his wife, they would definitely not be able to support these servants. For Yang Ming, this is definitely not much, but it feels like it is not enough. Mr. Yang, are there too many people? I'm afraid the monthly salary expenditure will be quite a lot. In addition to salary, food and accommodation are also included, which is also a large expense. The money is no problem. Yang Ming took out a Huifeng bank check for 2 million Hong Kong dollars. Except for buying a car, the rest will be used as expenses for the villa for the time being. It won't be enough to come back to me or my mommy later. Yes, Mr. Yang. When Lin Dezhong got the money, he finally felt relieved. It's easy to do things if you have money. As long as you have money, these are not problems. What surprised Lin Dezhong the most was that Mr. Yang actually gave him a check of 2 million. Aren't you afraid that he would take the money and leave? At this point, Yang Ming is really not worried. I will go back with my parents and Azu in the afternoon. You guys need to clean up here first. On Monday, my parents and I will move in. We will replace everything that needs to be changed. You don't have to worry about spending money. Yes, Mr. Yang. Lin Dezhong looked more respectful. 3:30 in the afternoon, Yang Ming, Azu, Yang Jirong and his wife got into the car. After Lin Dezhong and the two maids watched Yang Ming's family leave, he started looking for someone. While in the car, Yang Jirong and his wife had learned that Yang Ming actually asked Lin Dezhong to invite more than 10 servants back, which shocked the couple at first. Peter, hiring a dozen more servants for the villa is a huge expense, almost as much as the employee expenses of our electric fan factory. Daddy, Mommy, don't worry, that little money is nothing. The most important thing is that you will live here comfortably and peacefully. That's good. Yang Jirong and Li Yufang don't have to worry about money issues, and the couple won't ask any more questions. Yang Jirong drove away from here. Yang Ming, Azu, and Li Yufang were sent back to the Huayuan community first, while he returned to Honghu Electric Fan Factory first. That night, Yang Ming received a call from Lin Shoji and learned that he had rented a floor in the federal building and had someone clean it. In addition, everything such as desks and office chairs had been bought back. If Yang Ming has time tomorrow, he can take a bus to the federal building to have a look. Chapter 24 Entering the Stock Market Again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Yang Ming learned that Lin Dezhong had hired 2 professional bodyguards and drivers and bought a car, Yang Ming was going to visit the Imperial Group tomorrow. That night, Yang Ming stayed in his room until after 11 o'clock in the evening. Yang Jirong and Li Yufang were also very excited. Although this duplex will not be sold, after tonight, I am afraid that I will rarely come back to live there again. Azu and Yang Jirong have been packing their things and will move to a villa in the middle of Repulse Bay tomorrow, have a night's rest. Early the next day, when Yang Ming washed his face under Aju's service, he put on white pants and a fashionable jacket. After breakfast with Yang Jirong and his wife, soon, Azu received a call. It was Butler Lin and 2 bodyguards who were at the gate of the garden community. When Butler Lin and 2 bodyguards drove in, Butler Lin and the bodyguard came up first to help take things down. Yang Jirong and his wife didn't move much. Except for some clothes, jewelry, and valuables, basically nothing was moved. Young Master Yang, this is the professional bodyguard I hired. This is Xie Yan, and this is Chen Zhenhua. Yang Ming looked at these 2 people. They were both in their 20s, since Yang Ming had been in the arms business for so many years in his previous life, he was familiar with mercenaries. It was obvious at a glance how capable these 2 people were. They were recommended by Lin Dezhong, so there will naturally be no problems with these 2 people. Xie Yan, you will work part-time as my father's driver from now on, and Chen Zhenhua will follow me temporarily. Yes, boss. Lin Dezhong and Yang Jirong returned to the Repulse Bay Villa first. Yang Ming went to the federal building first. When Yang Ming got on the Rolls-Royce, Yang Ming's wheelchair had been folded and placed in the back compartment. When Chen Zhenhua drove to the federal building in Central, Yang Ming asked, Chen Zhenhua, are you not a native of Xiangjiang? Boss, my hometown is Chinese from Nanyang. When I was young, my parents immigrated to Xiangjiang. Since your family has the ability to immigrate from Nanyang to Xiangjiang, and your family is well off, how can you become a bodyguard? Boss, my family has been in decline for a long time, so I can only engage in this profession. At this point, Yang Ming thought it was normal. Since ancient times, wealth cannot last more than 3 generations. In many families, the first and second generations accumulate a lot of wealth, but the third generation may become pauper overnight. When Chen Zhenhua was driving skillfully, Yang Ming stopped disturbing him and looked outside. In the bustling street outside, cars are coming and going. On both sides of the street, there are billboards erected high. At first glance, it looks like the characteristic billboards of Xiangjiang. In the late 1970s, Xiangjiang was already very prosperous. Coming out of Jiahe Garden Community, it's not very far from the federal building. However, because it was rush hour and he had to wait for traffic lights, it took Chen Zhenhua about 40 minutes to drive his Rolls-Royce to the underground parking lot of the federal building. After Chen Zhenhua parked the car, he hurried over to take off the folding wheelchair and carefully helped Yang Ming out of the car. When Chen Zhenhua pushed Yang Ming to the elevator entrance, he took the elevator straight to the 29th floor. Come out from the 29th floor. At this time, Lin Shoji, Wang Shan, Hunter, Hailey and others all arrived. Boss. When they saw Chen Zhenhua pushing Yang Ming over, Lin Shoji and others hurriedly came out to greet him. Yang Ming went inside. He knew that the entire floor here was rented by the Imperial Group. Let's take a look first. Yang Ming was pushed by Chen Zhenhua, and under Lin Shoji's introduction, Yang Ming took a look at this place now. In addition to the chairman's office and general manager's office, there are also offices such as the finance department and the human resources department. There is also a large office area. There are separate desks and office chairs in the office area. Each desk has its own landline phone. At this point, Yang Ming discovered that it was actually not much different from other Xiangjiang offices. The difference is that in the 1990s, and even after 2000, many offices were basically equipped with desktop computers for work. However, it is not available here now. Lin Shoji, Hailey, you guys will follow me to Huifeng Bank Securities Company in a moment. Tang Shirlian, you and Miss Carey go and register the company. Others, stay here first. You can familiarize yourself with the environment here, or take a look around first. Financial newspapers and periodicals. I will come to talk to you in detail tomorrow about what our company will invest in specifically. Yes, boss. When Chen Zhenhua pushed Yang Ming away from here, Lin Shoji and Hailey followed behind, which made others a little envious. It must be different to at least be close to the boss. Now go to the underground parking garage. When Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce, Lin Shoji and Hailey learned that Yang Ming had not only bought a mountainside villa in Repulse Bay, but now also hired a professional driver. When Chen Zhenhua drove away from here, he went to the Huifeng Bank branch in Central. Just arrived at the door, Yang Ming got out of the car, sitting in the wheelchair. When Lin Shoji and Hailey pushed Yang Ming in, Kayla and Mr. Lehman were already waiting here. Mr. Yang, we are waiting for you to come. Kayla came over and said. Lehman also came over and greeted Yang Ming warmly. Lehman had guessed that Yang Ming had already established a company, and the two beauties in front of him should be Yang Ming's female employees. The time now is 9:08 a.m., 22 minutes before the official opening of the Hong Kong stock market. Of course Yang Ming was not in a hurry. Lin Shoji and Hailey were a little surprised. They didn't expect that the boss brought them here to trade stocks. Mr. Yang, please drink coffee. A staff member inside brought Yang Ming coffee first. Soon, Lin Shoji and Hailey were also sitting nearby. Although the two women had heard that their boss had made more than 60 million yuan in the Hong Kong stock market last week, they were shocked. There was no news about this in the newspapers in Hong Kong. At 9:25 in the morning, Yang Ming officially started asking Miss Kayla and Mr. Lehman to buy stocks. As he said, Yang Ming had already sorted out this stock information on Saturday. The purchase this time was also close to 15 Hong Kong dollars million. It's not that Yang Ming doesn't want to buy more, but he knows that Xiangjiang's daily transaction volume only fluctuates around 100 million Hong Kong dollars. It's useless no matter how much he buys, because he won't be able to sell it by then. According to the stocks mentioned by Yang Ming, Miss Kayla and Mr. Lehman basically kept buying stocks from 9:25 a.m. to around 10 a.m. After the 15 million Hong Kong dollars in stocks were sold out, many of the stocks I just bought have now begun to rise. Mr. Yang, some stocks have soared by more than 80%. Do you want to sell them? Lehman asked. Sell. Soon, those stocks were sold by Lehman via a landline phone call. In this way, those few stocks not only returned their principal, but also quickly made profits of more than 3 million Hong Kong dollars. This is Lin Shoji. Hailey witnessed with her own eyes that their boss made a profit of 3 million Hong Kong dollars in just over an hour. Please collect it. Please recommend. Please read it. Chapter 25 Entering the London Stock Market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whether Lin Shoji or Hailey, they are still very familiar with the Hong Kong stock market. In their view, the stock market is very risky, especially for short-term investments like this, which is considered good if they can get their money back. They never expected that the boss Yang Ming would make more than 3 million Hong Kong dollars in one morning, between 11 a.m. and 12:00 a.m. Kayla and Lehman reported to Yang Ming from time to time about the stocks they had just bought, and now many of them have begun to rise sharply. Among them, 2 surged by more than 100%. These 2 can be sold. When those 2 stocks were sold, Yang Ming made a profit of 1 Hong Kong dollar million. Next, a few more stocks skyrocketed by more than 90%, and they were sold again. making another profit of $2.70 million. In other words, during this period, the total profit from selling these stocks exceeded 3.7 million Hong Kong dollars. If we include the sales between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, the profit in one morning has exceeded 6.7 million Hong Kong dollars. Lin Dezhong and Hailey were shocked and speechless at this time. The stock market in Shanghai was not a bull market, but a very ordinary stock market. Under this situation, Yang Ming's short-term investment made a profit of more than 90%. "Boss, you are really amazing," Hailey said in shock. Apart from shock, surprise, and admiration, she could no longer describe her boss. "Let's go have lunch first." At 12 noon, the Hong Kong stock market officially closed. Yang Ming, Lin Dezhong, Hailey, and bodyguard and driver Chen Zhenhua came to a nearby Cantonese restaurant. Yang Ming asked for a private room. In the private room, Yang Ming said, "Whatever you like." "Boss, does our company specialize in stock market investment?" Hailey asked. "Stock market investing is just one of them." Yang Ming specially brought Lin Dezhong and Hailey to see his prowess in stock market investment. Not long, the food we just ordered was delivered. Yang Ming and them finished lunch here. In the afternoon, I returned to the office of Huifeng Securities in a wheelchair. The Hong Kong stock market closes at 4 p.m. However, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Yang Ming sold all the remaining stocks he bought in the Shanghai stock market. In addition to recovering costs, another net profit of 7 million Hong Kong dollars was obtained. Overall, today's return rate is around 90%. This kind of short-term investment has a return rate of more than 90%, which is very high in the eyes of Kira and Lehman. Like other investors, if you can have a return rate of 10 points, it is considered good. Mr. Yang, now that the Shanghai stock market trading has ended, are you ready to come back tomorrow? Kayla went to make a cup of coffee and looked at Yang Ming very elegantly and asked. "Of course not, I want to enter the London stock market." London stock market? The eyes of Kayla, Lehman, even Lin Dezhong, Hailey and others were attracted. London finance has always been one of the best in the world. Even now, London is the second largest financial city in the world. After New York is the largest financial city in the world. Among them, the daily trading volume of the London Stock Exchange and other securities companies' exchanges in country-wide is 10 times or even more than 10 times that of the Shanghai Exchange. This means that the daily trading volume of the London Stock Exchange is larger, and Yang Ming can make greater profits on this exchange. Like the 4 major stock exchanges in Hong Kong, it's not that he doesn't want to buy more stocks. The main reason is that the trading volume of the Hong Kong stock market is so large now. Even if he buys 100 million or even more stocks at a time and sells them in the short term, there will be no one at all. Takeover, however, the London Stock Exchange is different. The trading volume of the stock market on a trading day is more than 10 times larger than that of Hong Kong. That means that Yang Ming can play bigger there and naturally earn more. Kayla was surprised and asked, "Mr. Yang, although the transaction volume of the London Stock Exchange is larger, investors there are more mature, which means that the risks there are actually greater, especially short-term investments. In this regard, Mr. Yang, do you have research on the London Stock Exchange?" Lehman asked in surprise. Research? How could Yang Ming study it? He just read the stocks on the London Stock Exchange in advance from those newspapers. He knows in advance which stock will rise today and which stock will rise by how many points. However, he would naturally not say this. A bit. Yang Ming said. "Mr. Yang, are you sure you really want to enter the London Stock Exchange?" Kira asked again. "Yes, you can open an account on the London Stock Exchange for me immediately. When the London Stock Exchange becomes available for trading, I will enter the London Stock Exchange." Kira went to work. Huifeng Securities Company's headquarters is not only in Shanghai, but also in London. It is also one of Huifeng's headquarters. Now it is actually very easy to open a stock market trading account there. Because of the time difference, there is a difference of 8 hours between Hong Kong time and London time. The local stock market opening time in London is 8:30 a.m. and the local closing time is 15:00 p.m. If it were changed to Shanghai time, it would open at 16:30 in the afternoon and close at 2300 hours that night. so this means that the stock investment time in Xiangjiang is exactly staggered and connected to the stock time in the London Stock Exchange. This means that investors in Xiangjiang can first invest in the stock market in Xiangjiang, and then enter the London stock market half an hour later. It is precisely because of this that Xiangjiang has gradually become the third largest financial city in the world. At this time, it is now past 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there is still more than an hour before the London stock market starts. Kayla has already started to open a stock market account on the London Stock Exchange for Yang Ming. This takes almost half an hour. When Yang Ming filled out the relevant contracts and risk documents, he soon got a stock market trading account from the London Stock Exchange. This means that Yang Ming can enter the London Exchange for trading at 16:30 p.m. Hong Kong time. Mr. Yang, the account at the London Stock Exchange has been set up. We can have the stock you want to buy there carry out the operation at that time. Kayla came over and said, sitting in a wheelchair. Yang Ming began to calculate the funds he could use now, in addition to the original 80 million capital. However, he spent 10 million Hong Kong dollars on the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay, and gave 2 million Hong Kong dollars to butler Lin Dezhong to buy luxury cars and villa expenses, and 5 million Hong Kong dollars was given to the company for operation. Then there is only 63 million left. In addition, today I made 13.5 million in the Xiangjiang stock market. After calculation, the funds he can use now are only 76.5 million Hong Kong dollars. This money seemed to be a lot, but Yang Ming was not satisfied. According to the current stock market trading volume of the London Stock Exchange, it is 10 times or more than the daily stock market trading volume of Hong Kong. This means that the daily stock market trading volume there is at least 1 billion Hong Kong dollars, or even more. According to the current exchange rate between Hong Kong dollars and British pounds, 1 pound is equal to 16 Hong Kong dollars, which means that the daily transaction volume is more than 60 million pounds, or even more. Yang Ming calculated that the transaction volume of the London Stock Exchange last week was basically around 70 to 80 million pounds. And now the funds that Yang Ming can use are less than 5 million pounds. In other words, he has at his disposal less than 1/10 of the daily trading volume of the London Stock Exchange. Chapter 26 6 times leverage. 25 million pounds entered the London stock market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. According to Yang Ming's understanding, the current trading volume of London stocks has reached 70 to 80 million pounds per day, and the return on short-term investment of 20 million pounds is already considered very good. Like the London stock market and Hong Kong stock trading, they both belong to the T+0 trading model. This means that during stock market trading, you can buy at any time and you can sell at any time. If you want to make a profit of 20 million pounds at a time, you need to invest at least 25 million pounds. The funds that Yang Ming can now use are less than 5 million pounds, which means that if he wants to get that much money, he can only raise funds from Huifeng Bank. Kayla and Lehman, and even Lin Xiaoji and Hailey, originally thought that it would be very risky for Yang Ming to just enter the London Stock Exchange, which was unfamiliar to him. Who would have thought that Yang Ming would actually increase investment? Mr. Yang, you still want to continue to increase investment? Kayla asked in surprise. Miss Kayla, I want to raise funds. Financing in the stock market is normal and has always happened. It's just that the interest and commissions of different financing institutions are different. Of course, Huifeng Securities Company and Huifeng Bank have their own financing methods that can provide financing to investors. Formal financing companies are basically within double the price. In other words, if you only have 5 million pounds of capital, you can only raise 5 million pounds at most, like some illegal financing companies. In addition to high interest and commissions, the amount of financing that can be raised is 10 times, or even 100 times, the own capital. This method of financing is basically the same as jumping off a building. If you are not careful, you will be shattered. Mr. Yang, how much financing do you want to get? Yang Ming needs at least 25 million pounds, now it only has more than 4 million pounds. After calculation, it will take almost 6 times the financing. 6 times leverage. 0.6 times. Kira and Raymond looked at each other, shocked again. 6 times that would be more than 20 million pounds, and if converted into Hong Kong dollars, it would be more than 400 million Hong Kong dollars. Yang Ming is actually planning to use more than 70 million Hong Kong dollars to leverage more than 400 million Hong Kong dollars. One can imagine how large this financing scale is. Mr. Yang, this is very risky. If you are not careful, all the funds you have accumulated may be lost. Kayla said seriously from the side. Miss Kayla, just do as I say. In that case, Kira did not persuade Yang Ming anymore. When Kayla was on the phone with the above, after the call was connected, I was shocked when I learned that Mr. Yang was going to leverage 6 times, that is, a financing leverage of 600%. I learned from Kayla that Yang Ming's return rate on the Xiangjiang stock market has exceeded 85% for 6 consecutive trading days. This actually made them very interested in Yang Ming's investment. We can provide him with financing, and even the interest and commission on financing can be lower. Na said, after Kayla confirmed that her superiors agreed to finance Yang Ming, she issued a financing risk contract. As long as Yang Ming signs this risk financing risk letter, then Yang Ming can obtain this financing fund and enter the London Stock Exchange. Yang Ming read the risk financing risk book and signed his name on the back. When Lin Shoji and Hailey watched Yang Ming sign his name, neither woman knew what to say. At this time, Hong Kong time has reached 4:15 p.m., which is still 15 minutes before the local London Exchange trading time. Yang Ming could learn from his account that more than £20 million of funds had entered his stock market account. The funds in Yang Ming's account now exceed £25 million. In 1978, that was a lot of money. 16:30 p.m., 8:30 a.m. London time, Kira and Lehman began to talk to the traders in London as Yang Ming said. According to what Yang Ming said, Yang Ming's account was manipulated. £25 million is a very large sum of money. If you buy a stock for £500,000, this means buying at least 50 London stocks. Currently, the number of stocks listed and traded in London and even countrywide is much greater than that of the 4 major exchanges in Hong Kong. There are more than 2,000 stocks there. Select 50 of the stocks that have risen, and some of them have risen a lot, which is really difficult for ordinary short-term investors to do. Yang Ming sat there, holding a newspaper, and asked Kayla and Lehman to buy it directly. At 1700 hours p.m., Hong Kong time, Kira and Lehman bought more than 60 stocks for Yang Ming, and all of the more than £25 million have been spent. At 9 a.m. local time in London, the London Stock Exchange has officially opened for trading, and many stocks have begun to rise or fall. Now, what Yang Ming and others can understand is that they can only know the ups and downs there at any time through the phone. Mr. Yang, several of your stocks are rising rapidly. Kayla said excitedly while listening to the call. If the stocks that Yang Ming bought start to fall all of a sudden, it means that Yang Ming's own principal may not be guaranteed, and may not even be left at all soon. Now when the stocks Yang Ming bought started to rise, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, Lin Shoji and Hailey were nervously listening to Kira and Lehman reporting those numbers. In the eyes of others, this may be just numbers, but in the eyes of Lin Shoji and Hailey, it is all money. These ever-changing amounts of money and wealth. Yang Ming was sitting in a wheelchair with a very calm expression, as if it had nothing to do with him. When he read the newspaper on Saturday, he had already seen in advance which stocks on the London Stock Exchange were going up and by how much. Knowing the result in advance, he seemed very calm. Kira, Lehman, according to what I said, some can be sold. Some stocks have risen to a certain level and look like they will continue to rise. Yang Ming is not greedy. Since he sees the highest price in advance, he sells at that price. There is no need to wait any longer. When Yang Ming asked Kelly and Lehman to sell those stocks immediately, these stocks had just been sold. I don't know whether it was affected by Yang Ming's selling of stocks, or whether these stocks really started to fall. As soon as Yang Ming's stocks were sold, those stocks started to fall. This made both Kelly and Lehman feel that this was too risky, even too exciting, too crazy. It's been a roller coaster ride. Finally, it was like getting off a roller coaster safely. Kira and Lehman both felt cold sweat on their backs. Both of these people have not traded so much money for a long time. Today, the two of them have a combined trading capital of more than £25 million, which is already 4 times the daily trading volume of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. You can imagine how crazy this is. Please collect it. Please read it. Chapter 27 Earn 360 million Hong Kong dollars in the London stock market. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Yang Ming's short-term investment is like an internationally famous short-term sniper, without any delay. When the time comes and the rate of return arrives, Yang Ming immediately asks Kira or Lehman to sell it, starting from 1700 hours PM in Hong Kong time until 1900 hours PM, Kira and Lehman have sold 20 stocks for Yang Ming. In addition to recovering the cost of £10 million, they also made a profit of nearly £9 million. In return the rate reaches about 90%, when Yang Ming looked at the wall clock in his office, he found that the time was 1900 hours in the evening. It's time to go have dinner. Yang Ming originally wanted to ask Kayla and Lehman to go together, but at this time, the two of them were nervously trading stocks for Yang Ming. According to Hong Kong time, the London stock trading lasted until 2300 hours in the evening. It was only 1900 hours at this time, which was still early for the stock market trading to end. Now that Kira and the two were still trading so many stocks, they naturally did not dare to leave. Lin Shoji, highly, let's go have dinner first. Boss, this stock. Lin Shoji couldn't believe that the boss was still in the mood to have dinner at this time. This is not 10 yuan, 8 yuan, or tens of thousands of Hong Kong dollars, this is millions, tens of millions of pounds of stock. Yang Ming looked very calm and said, don't worry, Mr. Kira and Lehman will do the business for me. Lin Shoji could only push Yang Ming away from here, came to a nearby Western restaurant. Yang Ming and the other four sat down, looked at Lin Shoji and Hailey and asked, do you think stock trading is exciting? Boss, this stock market trading is like a roller coaster. The excitement is exciting, but the risks are too great. People with heart disease may not be able to bear it, Lin Shoji said. Judging from the Chinese bank where she worked before, the bank's annual interest rate of 5 points was already very good. Unless there is a bull market in Hong Kong real estate, bank returns may exceed these. In 1 hour, Yang Ming's return on investment exceeded 90 points. In the eyes of Lin Shoji and Hailey, the boss seemed not satisfied yet. The higher the risk, the higher the reward, of course. This cannot be changed at any time. Yang Ming knew that the reason why he was so confident was not only because he came from the future, but also because he could see tomorrow's investment information in advance. At this point, only he knows now. The waitress brought over the Western food ordered by Yang Ming and others. After Yang Ming, Lin Shoji, Hailey, and Chen Zhenhua finished eating here, they returned to Huifeng Securities Company. By this time, the time had reached 20:34 in the evening. Just now, Kayla and Lehman sold more than a dozen stocks for Yang Ming. These stocks all rose by more than 85%, and the highest even reached 122%. Those stocks, in addition to the return of principal, received more than £7 million. This means that there are still more than 20 stocks currently trading, under Yang Ming's guidance. Around 2100 hours in the evening, the two of them sold those stocks one after another. Some of the gains have not yet reached Yang Ming's heart. There was no need for him to wait any longer. These stocks were basically sold at around 21:15 in the evening. After calculation, in addition to all the financing funds and his principal being returned, as well as the interest and commissions on the financing, Yang Ming's return on investment in London this time actually reached about 90%. What does that mean? This means that Yang Ming earned £22.5 million. This is not Hong Kong dollars, but pounds. After calculation, I made 360 million Hong Kong dollars. Not a single night, just from 1700 hours to about 2100 hours in the evening, almost 4 hours, Yang Ming directly made a profit of 360 million Hong Kong dollars from the London stock market, and his original cost was only more than 70 million Hong Kong dollars. After calculation, the return rate was more than 500%. If Yang Ming adds the original principal of more than 70 million, Yang Ming's personal account already has more than 400 million Hong Kong dollars. That's just a few hours. Except for Kira, Lehman was once again shocked. Lin Shoji and Hailey didn't know what to say. Boss, you are really amazing. Lin Shoji no longer knew how to describe it. In her eyes, the boss really existed like a god at this time. A very risky short-term investment. At this time, it seemed to be a normal thing for Yang Ming. Kira and Lehman both sat on their chairs as if they were paralyzed from exhaustion. The two of them had been in contact with the trader in London just now by phone. They felt that their ears were burning because they had been listening to the phone for a long time. They are really excited and exciting, especially Kira. It was as if she had earned the money herself. In the past, she had only heard about the existence of such godlike short-term snipers in the world. She had never seen it with her own eyes. Now, wouldn't such a godlike stock sniper be sitting in front of her? Mr. Yang, you've made so much money, I think you can have a good rest today, right? Kayla said with a smile. It was just past 21 o'clock in the evening, and she thought Yang Ming would invite her to have a few drinks. Out of nowhere, Yang Ming smiled and said, Miss Kira, Mr. Lehman, the London stock market trading is over, and the New York Stock Exchange will open in more than an hour. Mr. Yang, what? Don't you still want to enter the stock market trading in country M? That when Kira heard this, she was shocked again. Lehman on the side also looked in disbelief. They thought that Yang Ming would earn 3 to 400 million Hong Kong dollars tonight, which would be enough, earning hundreds of millions in one night. In their opinion, there are probably very few such stock gods in this world. Yang Ming actually wants to enter the stock market of country M, isn't he crazy? Why not? Mr. Yang, do you really want to enter the stock market of country M? Kayla asked again in disbelief. Certainly. If we say that the London stock market trading is 10 times or even 10 times that of the Hong Kong stock market, as the world's largest stock exchange, in addition to concentrating country M's own huge stock market investors, there are also stock market transactions from all over the world. These stock market investors have their eyes set on US stocks, even if it is not during the bull market. The daily trading volume of the exchanges in country M is still dozens or even 100 times that of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. What does that mean? Does this mean that the daily trading volume of the stock exchange in country M is now larger than that of the London Stock Exchange? This means that there is a lot of wealth there. It's all money. Mr. Yang, I will open a US stock trading account for you right now. When Kayla knew that Yang Ming was not joking, she immediately opened a US stock trading account for Yang Ming. Of course, in addition to the New York Stock Exchange, there are several smaller exchanges in the US stock market. However, the largest exchange in the US stock market is of course the New York Stock Exchange. If it is opened, you can buy US stocks on any exchange. Chapter 29: The Mysterious Short-Term Sniper in the Stock Market. Shocked global investors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. Yang Ming looked at the time displayed on the wall clock in his office. It's late, I think it's time to go back and rest. Yang Ming knew, after today, his short-term operations in the stock market will definitely shock the world. Kayla and Lehman were also sleepy. Thinking of today's trading in the London and New York stock markets, they still looked very excited. When Kayla and Lehman sent Yang Ming, Lin Dezhong, and Hailey out in person, at the door, I watched Yang Ming get into the Rolls-Royce from the wheelchair and quickly disappear into the night. Boss, shall we go back to the Repulse Bay Villa? Chen Zhenhua asked. Lin Dezhong, Hailey, where do you live? It's so late now. Although there are taxis, the public security is not good at this time. If it's not far away, you can send them back first. Lin Dezhong and Hailey told each other where they lived, and Yang Ming discovered that they lived in the Central District, which was not too far away. Send them back first. Chen Zhenhua sent the two girls back one by one according to the location mentioned by Lin Dezhong and Hailey, and then returned to the Yang family villa in the middle of Repulse Bay. Returned to Repulse Bay Mid-Levels Villa. The time came to 4:30 in the morning. Yang Jirong, his wife and Lin Dezhong found that Yang Ming had not come back after being out for such a long time, and the three of them were a little worried, especially Lin Dezhong. He knew very well that bodyguard and driver Chen Zhenhua was recommended by him personally. If anything happened to young master, he, as a housekeeper, would really betray young master's trust. When they saw the Rolls-Royce pull up, the three of them came out in a hurry. Peter, why are you so late? Li Yufeng asked hurriedly. Mommy, we have been at Huifeng Securities Company just now. We will not come back until the US stock market is over. Yang Ming got into the wheelchair. Li Yufeng personally pushed Yang Ming up to the third floor. You have already made a lot of money, why do you have to work so hard? Li Yufeng said with concern. Mommy, I don't feel it's hard, I'm just a little sleepy. I'm going to rest now. I have a big happy event. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'm afraid if I tell you guys in advance, you won't be able to sleep tonight. Then I'll let Ah Zhu take care of you and take a bath. When Yang Ming took a bath, Ah Zhu gave Yang Ming a massage. Now that Yang Ming has been exposed to the sun and supplemented with nutritious food these days, the muscles in his body are still atrophied, but the effect still seems to be very good. Master, I'm going to rest first. Go ahead. Yang Ming lived in this new home for the first time tonight, Repulse Bay mid-level villa. This is different from the high-rise commercial housing in Jiahe Garden community. This is the first villa I bought with real money. After Azu went out, Yang Ming sat by the window and could see the bright moon outside. Looking out from here, he couldn't see many houses, but it was very quiet here and felt much more comfortable than in the central district. When Yang Ming fell asleep, when he opened his eyes again and woke up, the time had reached 14:24 in the afternoon. I came back early in the morning to take a shower and rest. It was already past 5 o'clock. Now I had a good sleep. I didn't expect that such a long time had passed. After Yang Ming got up, even without the help of others, he can still simply do some things by himself, but it's just not that convenient yet. When Yang Ming pressed the pager beside the bed, Azu and butler Lin hurried in. At Azu, he served Yang Ming to wash his face and change clothes. Yang Ming still likes to wear casual clothes, but because it is January, the weather in Xinjiang is still a bit cold, so he wears an extra coat. Ah Zhu pushed Yang Ming out. Butler Lin asked the kitchen to prepare a rich lunch. Now Yang Jirong has already returned to work at Huihong Electric Fan Company, while Li Yufang stays at home, because Lin Dezhong invited back 3 chefs and more than a dozen other servants. Now Li Yufang does not need to do many things herself. She can just instruct those servants to do things. Peter, are you hungry? Mommy, I'm really hungry. The chef prepares rich Cantonese dishes for Yang Ming. While Li Yufang sat there and watched Yang Ming eat and drink, Lin Dezhong didn't know whether the food cooked by the chef he invited back was in line with young Master Yang's appetite. Looking at Yang Ming eating now, he probably thinks it's pretty good. Azu, bring me today's newspaper. When Ah Zhu went to get those newspapers, not surprisingly, a mysterious stock god has been reported in many newspapers and international news today. In a short period of time, it swept through the Hong Kong stock market, the London stock market, and the M stock market, taking away more than 1 billion Hong Kong dollars from the 3 major stock markets. This news not only shocked many investors in Hong Kong, but also shocked other investors around the world. What those investors don't know now is that this mysterious short-term stock market sniper is none other than Yang Ming, who is eating in a wheelchair. Look at the time. Today, Yang Ming cannot enter the Xinjiang stock market, the London stock market and the stock market of country M are not available yet, so of course you can enter. Yang Ming had eaten and drank enough, and he felt more energetic. Li Yufang originally thought that her son would rest at home, but Yang Ming said, Mommy, I have to go back to the company. You kid, don't get a good rest. Mommy, I've slept for such a long time and I feel very energetic now. When Yang Ming called the bodyguard and driver Chen Zhenhua, Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce and drove to the Federal Building. Lin Shouji and Haili, who were sent back by Yang Ming's driver, slept until it was time to go to work in the morning. The 2 women woke up separately. When they hurried to the Federal Building Empire Group office building as usual. Now the other employees of the company are here. Lin Shouji and Haili could see news that shocked the world from today's newspapers and magazines. Mysterious investors made more than 1 billion Hong Kong dollars in the 3 major stock markets in the world day and night. Of course Lin Shouji and Haili knew who it was. They were so shocked that they couldn't sleep when they went home last night. Now other employees in the company, like Tang Shilian and Hunter, don't know. These employees sat here in the company all day yesterday and had nothing to do. However, everyone is quite familiar with each other. Now when they saw Lin Shouji and Haili, they both came over and asked, Secretary Lin, I wonder what we are going to do today. I didn't know until the boss came. Before Yang Ming came to the company, Lin Shouji naturally didn't know what her boss was going to do. Yesterday and last night, she witnessed Yang Ming killing everyone in the stock market and making huge profits. Lin Shouji didn't know how to describe this new boss. Then it seems we have nothing to do in the morning. I think the boss has a good rest. He will definitely come over in the afternoon. Before going back yesterday, Yang Ming told them that he would definitely come to the company today. When Lin Shoji returned to her desk, she, like Hailey, was a little sleepy, probably because she slept too little. Even though she drank a few cups of coffee to relieve her pain, she still didn't know when she fell asleep. Please collect it. Please read it. Chapter 30 Entering Stock Markets Around the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Chen Zhenhua pushed his boss in a wheelchair and took the elevator up to the 29th floor of the Federal Building, Yang Ming soon saw Hunter and others in the office area doing their own things out of boredom. The boss is here. The first person to react was Lin Shoji. This morning, Lin Shoji and Hailey felt much more energetic after resting in the office area for a few more hours. Boss. After others reacted, they also came over to say hello. For the new boss Yang Ming, except for Lin Shoji and Hailey, no one else actually has much respect for Yang Ming. They were also recommended by Kayla to join Yang Ming Company. Now they don't even know what the Imperial Group is going to do specifically. Yang Ming came to the conference room in a wheelchair. At this time, all 15 employees of the company were present. Tang Shilian has registered for the Imperial Group, which means that the Imperial Group has been officially established. I guess you don't know what your job is in the Imperial Group. It's boring. It's really boring to be alone doing nothing, except for those who just want to be lazy from the beginning. These employees recommended by Kayla are all very thoughtful, otherwise most of them would not have to leave their original companies at all. Yang Ming picked up the newspaper he brought from home. The headline on the front page of newspapers now is related to Yang Ming. The mysterious short-term sniper battled the 3 major stock markets in the world and made more than 1 billion Hong Kong dollars in one day. Many people must have read these international news and various exaggerated headlines. Now it is Lin Shoji and Hailey who know the inside story. You all watched it. Boss, after seeing this, I don't even know who this short-term mysterious sniper is. These people looked envious and admired. Yang Ming smiled and said, Lin Shoji and Hailey know who they are. How can it be? When others looked at Lin Shoji and Hailey, Lin Shoji said, we do know who it is, and we are still witnesses who witnessed it in person. When their boss signaled them to speak up, Lin Shoji and Hailey told Yang Ming about Yang Ming's short-term investments in the Hong Kong stock market, the London stock market, and the New York stock market yesterday and last night respectively. What Lin Shoji and Hailey said was even more exciting. After listening to this, Hunter and others looked at everything in disbelief. They heard from Kayla that Yang Ming made tens of millions of Hong Kong dollars in the Hong Kong stock market. Who would have thought that the boss made so much in one day and one night last night? Boss, are everything they said true? Tang Shilian said in shock. Good. This time, these dozen people were completely different from before. They looked at the boss with expressions of shock and disbelief. They couldn't figure out how the boss made such a huge profit through short-term investment. When it comes to short-term stock investment, buying and selling, or leveraged investment, they all understand it. What they don't understand is why the boss can obtain large amounts of wealth so easily even though short-term investment risks are so high. The first thing our Imperial Group has to do is to obtain as much funds as possible from major stock markets around the world. Yang Ming himself does not have much capital. First, he received tens of millions of Hong Kong dollars from the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and then continued to make profits in the stock market. In Yang Ming's view, this is definitely not enough. Currently, the world's stock exchanges include Hong Kong's 4 major exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in Country M, the Tokyo Stock Exchange in Japan, the London Stock Exchange, and stock exchanges in other European countries, etc. There are naturally many of these stock exchanges. If Yang Ming were to deal with those things by himself, even if he didn't sleep 24 hours a day, he wouldn't have that much time to deal with them. Yang Ming can know tomorrow's stock market news through newspapers and periodicals in advance. Naturally, this includes stock markets around the world. It is precisely because of that that Yang Ming can let the employees of the Imperial Group do these things for him and obtain a steady stream of funds from stock markets around the world. And what I want to do is to provide you with the first capital and information on buying and selling stocks, so that you can enter the major stock markets around the world according to what I said, and make continuous profits in the major stock markets around the world. At this time, except for Lin Shoji and Hailey, everyone else already understood. However, where does the boss's stock information come from? They really don't know. It is already 15:47 in the afternoon, less than an hour before the London stock market opens. I am ready to hand over the responsibility to Hailey and Li Yongfeng. Yang Ming finished speaking. Just go back to the office first. It was so hard to stay up late, so of course he would no longer keep an eye on the rise and fall of the stock market. He knows very well which stocks are rising, which stocks are falling, and by how many points. In the chairman's office, Yang Ming wrote down the stocks he wanted to buy on a piece of paper. He knew that it was simply impossible to make a huge profit of more than 1 billion Hong Kong dollars on the London and New York stock markets just like last night. After cutting those leaks last night, however, it is not impossible to make tens of millions of dollars in profit in one night. Yang Ming handed the written stock information to Hailey and asked Hailey and Li Yongfeng to communicate with Miss Kayla from Huifeng Securities Company. Besides, and the New York stock market tonight, Yang Ming is going to hand over the responsibility to Hunter and Wang Shan, in addition to the London stock market and the New York stock market, for example, the Tokyo stock market, the Swiss stock market, the Paris stock market, the Frankfurt stock market, etc. Yang Ming has to be responsible for different staff. Besides, in addition to opening company accounts, they also need to open stock market accounts around the world first. When Yang Ming asked Lin Shoji to call these people in again, they had already recovered from their shock. Soon they knew exactly what they were going to do. As long as they open an account with the relevant exchange and follow the corresponding time difference, they can work in their own office area and buy and sell stocks through the landline phone and the other side. Nowadays, except for some Asian company stocks, such as the Singapore Stock Exchange, Tokyo Stock Exchange, and Bayan Stock Exchange, the time difference is not much different from that of Hong Kong. The time difference between European and American trading markets is relatively large. Equivalently, some may have to stay up until the middle of the night, especially in country M. The time basically ends in the early morning. European stocks basically close before 10 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, except for Lin Shoji as his assistant secretary and Tang Shilian as the financial director, the other 13 people are responsible for major stock markets around the world, which is quite stressful. Yang Ming knew that this was just the beginning. Soon, their Empire Group would recruit a second batch of new employees. Please vote. Please read it.